Okay, everybody. This is something I wanted to do for a while. A pop culture politics video about how television has just become completely unwatchable without seeing the woke crap that's being injected into it. Uh, but before I go on, just got a notification that the Supreme Court is going to hear an appeal by the Biden administration about state bans on gender affirming care. And this is exactly what I'm talking about with the uh, woke politics injecting itself into people's lives through entertainment. And I'm starting off with Disney. Disney has not, this isn't something new. People just became aware of what's going on with Disney. And Disney is, put my lid on it quick. There we go. Getting some tea because I'm dried out. Disney's been pushing the gay agenda for quite some time. People just aren't becoming aware of it. 1989. Whoa, what the hell? There we go. 1989, my wife and I got married, and our honeymoon was to Disney World. We never went anywhere, either of us, in our lives. Got married at 10 in the morning, had a little lunchtime reception at 4 in the afternoon. We're at Reading Regional Airport on a charter going directly from Reading, Pennsylvania to Disney World. And it was a great honeymoon. We really enjoyed Disney and Epcot and the water parks and everything. But in 1989, a movie came out called The Little Mermaid, and there was this issue that came up about the artwork for the publication of The Little Mermaid that inside, hidden, like not very well concealed in the artwork for the castle of the Little Mermaid, the underwater castle, was this one spire that looked like a gigantic golden penis. And everybody, the people at Disney said, "Oh, we're sorry. This was a mistake." And a lot of people thought, "Oh, this is a prank that was done by one of the animators. Oh, the animators do such pranks on each other. Ha ha ha, hee hee." And nobody really made anything of it at the time. Then a few years later, 1994, The Lion King came out. And on their promotional art, there was what is known as steganography, which is an image hidden in with another image. Like, say you have two silhouettes of people looking at each other, and hidden inside that, in the negative space, is the image of a vase. I mean, people are familiar with that. But what was done here was in the face of Simba, big prominent face in the poster, there was hidden a woman with a large buttock, with her butt crack hanging out of her underwear from behind, and the shapely body with long hair hidden in the negative space of Simba's face. And once again, people were saying that this was not the case, that this video was not, artwork was not real. It was just people going nuts about it. But then later on, this watching this video, someone paused their video at a specific time when the video came out, and it was when Simba laid down, and there was this glittery effect in the moonlight from the dust coming up. Really didn't make sense. He just flopped, and the dust came up, and it kind of glittered. And when they did, and you stop it at a specific time, this one frame, the dust coalesces into the word sex, and then it's subliminal, one frame. And once again, Disney said, "Oh no, we're not pushing something here. We're not. This is just people's minds going somewhere." So 2006 comes around. My kids are young. They're 10 and 11. 10 and 11. April 2006. And we take our kids to Disney. And when we got there, now there was a local person that I knew that grew up around the corner from me, and he was a band leader for the high school. He was a music director for the high school, and he retired. And he moved to Disney. He moved to and had a job for Disney. And he was gay, and he was a nice guy. He kind of, never bothered anybody. But I get there, and I was kind of upset when I got there, because when we got there, I found out it was Gay Week, and I thought, oh, if you're not looking for it, you won't see it. And it was the case. I mean, it really didn't interfere with me enjoying the time with my family there. And when I went to upgrade our package at guest services, I mentioned this gentleman's name, and he must have been a big deal. I said, yeah, he grew up around the corner from me. Because they just completely, they didn't just upgrade it a little, they upgraded it a lot. We had a whole bunch of character meals just because I mentioned this guy's name. I thought, oh, this is cool. We had a Mickey Mouse barbecue. We went to Winnie the Pooh character meals. I mean, we really ate well with our food package and everything, and it was a good time. And we came home, and about 2 weeks later, a subject comes up on TV, once again involving a penis, and apparently it was in the topiary with Alice from Alice in Wonderland. Topiary is shaped plants. They sculpt. They have them all over the parks. And apparently this Alice in Wonderland thing, she was standing in with mushrooms. And a couple of the mushrooms looked like dicks. And we never saw it when we were there. But some people were complaining about these penis-shaped mushrooms. And they took them out. They said they were supposed to look like shiitake mushrooms. Again, they always had an excuse, but they were pushing penises again, just like the Little Mermaid cover. So, hold on, my notes faded off. Then again, the subliminal stuff came up because somebody was watching Tangled, which is about Rapunzel, and they're watching it for the kid, and once again, somebody paused the movie, and very obviously hidden within the long flowing hair of Rapunzel and the folds of the hair, the word sex comes up again. And now this is twice subliminally, the same word came up. Now, nobody's gone through these movies frame by frame. The capability to do this now is very easy with digital video. And I really think it's an observation that some people, some organization, conservative work, I don't have I have other things to do in life than go through children's movies that are meant for children frame by frame. And it was really somebody needs to do this. Some organization needs to do this, because now you have twice this. Uh, and there was a movie, Disney movie, featuring a character that was voiced by Rosie O'Donnell that was kind of a gender bender character in the movie. He was a gorilla with a mohawk that had a boy's name and was a girl and all this other stuff. But oh, don't worry about that. The character was a tomboy. At the time, Rosie wasn't out. Rosie, everybody see this. Another thing, Rosie O'Donnell was one of the biggest names in entertainment with her talk show, the Rosie O'Donnell Show. My wife and I watched it. We loved it. It was like the pop culture show, and it was real. It was a good show, and people loved her until she came out, and she became this completely different person. And everybody knew, nobody cared because they liked the show and they liked what she was putting out there. Now, she goes woke, and she destroyed her whole show and her whole career. Uh, Now after Tangled, we got Toy Story. Now, Toy Story was a well-established children's show, and it became it voiced by different famous actors. And in 2022, Disney decided to make Buzz Lightyear a homosexual. Now, Buzz Lightyear, up until this point, was voiced by Tim Allen from the TV show Home Improvement and Last Man Standing. He's quite a conservative voice in Hollywood, and he refused to return as the character. The character was the first gay kiss in animation. They made a big deal about it. And 2023, we had a live action adaptation of The Little Mermaid. And because of Disney's DEI policies, they decided to change the ethnicity of the character Ariel. Now, here's another thing that a lot of people didn't realize. Ariel is the name of a fallen angel in biblical times. Ariel is essentially a demon, a name of a demon. In the Lesser Keys of Solomon, I believe it was mentioned in the book of Enoch, and so on. Ariel is the name of a fallen angel. Pretty name, but it's something else that's been crammed into under the radar of under the umbrella of Disney. Now, the character, like I said, the character of Ariel, DEI, all of a sudden, Ariel went from a white girl to a black girl. Now, very attractive young lady, very talented young lady, had a beautiful singing voice, but it's just one of those things that Disney's doing that push different social agendas, liberal social agendas. In 2023, they body shaming artist of singing artist Lizzo made an appearance in the TV show Mandalorian as a queen. So you had this morbidly obese queen, 400-pound woman, at least 400 pounds. 2024, Disney this year, man, just the piling on of things with the woke in these characters, it just really become ridiculous. This year, Star Wars TV series Acolyte features a lesbian space witches that conceived children through the Force. And these two children are the main characters of the show. One of those two children you could tell, was trying to have a budding lesbian relationship with a Jedi Knight. All right. I mean, who knows? Maybe they're just friends. But also 2024 Disney celebration in the park for the parades with the Disney celebration. Now, this is one thing that, because the guy I knew, he was in charge of celebrations, which is the parades and stuff like that, the events throughout the park, and the Disney dining character things was what he was in charge of. The Disney celebration parades featured all the different LGBT flags, and one of those flags was the YAP flag. So yeah, that means that Disney is pushing YAP. And for those who don't know what YAP is, it's an agenda hidden within the LGBT alphabet soup people. YAP is youth attracted person. In other words, pedophiles. So the pedophile flag of all these other myriad of flags that the LGBT has was incorporated into Disney celebrations at the park this year. There's pictures of it online. Just look up YAP flag at Disney World and you will find them. Now, we're going to switch to another Disney property, and that's Marvel Cinematic Universe. I look at Marvel here, Marvel there. Grew up on Marvel, and this is one of the things that has me upset. I love the Marvel movies, and one of the reasons the new phase since Avengers Endgame has been, has been doing so bad is they got so woke. So now they're trying to swing the pendulum the other way to bring the fans back. I mean, some of their movies have been so bad, and some of their TV shows on Disney Plus have been so bad, and people really were upset about it. In 2015, Marvel had a Netflix show called Jessica Jones. And there was this horrible character, this lecherous, in the comics, he was a lecherous man who cheated on his wife, and he was emblematic of all the stuff that people said about lawyers, all the negative stereotypes about lawyers. And Disney took this character on the Jessica Jones TV show and gender bent it. It was no longer a man, it was a woman, but possessed the same horrible attributes. And it was played by the actress that played the female lead in The Matrix. I'm trying to think of her name. Can't think of her name at the time. Sorry about that, folks. But she was a lesbian. So it had all these bad attributes, but then they made her a lesbian. And the actress really did a good job of playing this horrible, horrible person. But for some reason, they just felt the need to make it a woman and a lesbian. And at the time, she was kind of she was one of the negative characters in the movie, and they snuck that one in under the radar. In 2015, Marvel made a Fantastic Four movie, and once again, DEI comes in and they change a character. They change the origins of one character who was Johnny Storm, and they brought in this Michael Johnson fella to play him. And Johnny Storm had a sister named Sue Storm, who was also part of the Fantastic Four. And they just botched everything up with this character. Because she's white, he's black. She's adopted because they changed the ethnicity of their father, who was a scientist. So she became adopted. She was kind of like the reverse of Different Strokes. So the movie was so bad the writing of the movie was so bad, and the actors weren't bad, but the script was so bad that it made the actors look bad. It was really a bad piece of shit, and it didn't do well in the movies. The fans rejected it, as they should have. In 2022, Marvel, in this new phase, after the Infinity Saga, in the movie, now they're in the Multiverse Saga, and in the movie Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, there is this character named America Chavez, who is able to travel at will from one universe to another, from in the multiverse. And she is a lesbian from a dimension that is matriarchal and filled with lesbians. Men are subservient, and women can reproduce without men asexually. And that's America Chavez, one of the many new characters that they're introducing into the Marvel Cinematic Universe that are alphabet soup people. And now the next one, 2024, this year we really got some doozies. We had the lesbian space witches in Star Wars, and the Acolyte is doing very bad in ratings. Now we have a hero in the show Echo. The main hero in the show Echo is a deaf Native American lesbian who is an amputee, has a prosthetic leg. Deaf Native American lesbian. Could you cram any more social bullshit into a character, Marvel? This is a character. This is how the character is in the comic books, in the source material, and it just goes on and on with the alphabet soup and the DEI. Now, also, the TV shows. ABC is owned by Disney, and you can't get away from the DEI shows and the LGBT shows, especially the shows that are supposed to be comedies. Remember when comedies were filmed on a studio in front of a live audience, and you knew when stuff was funny and when jokes were flopped? You don't anymore, because they don't have audience. They don't film in front of a live audience. They film the show out in the public, or on sets, on backstages, and there is no audience. They film them like a movie or a drama. So if one of their jokes doesn't go over as funny, there's nobody laughing. And the jokes, the woke jokes, are the reason that nighttime comedy shows like Jimmy Kimmel, ABC, are not doing well. And you have a show that isn't woke, like Gutfeld, he's the king of late night. I almost said gay night, late night. It's funny, is I thought when Gutfeld came to Fox, I thought he was gay. That's the funny thing, because when they said a gay guy came to Fox, Gutfeld had the show Red Eye. And I didn't realize that the gay guy on Fox was Shepard Smith, because Shepard Smith was more butch than Gutfeld. Now Disney's DEI goes even further, because they bought the DEI and the gay stuff. They bought the rights to Doctor Who this year from the BBC. And BBC was already pushing both the DEI and the gay issues on Doctor Who, and it just exploded this year. All right, now 2013 on Doctor Who, the modern era of Doctor Who first started introducing DEI because every family was blended. One member was black, one member was white, Hispanic, Arab. They pushed all that. That you didn't have a family of one particular ethnicity, and that's how it is in real life. I mean, there's blending in my family, there's blending in every family, and that's okay. But when you're pushing it in a TV show that every single family is blended in this way, most families are relatively one specific ethnicity, and then they were pushing pushing gay along with it. Every female companion the Doctor had if they were white, they had an African American paramour, a boyfriend, spouse, and if they were black, they had a white significant other. In 2013, the character of the Master in an episode insinuated a past homosexual relationship with the Doctor, and this upsetted a lot of long-time fans because this is a show that started in black and white in the 1960s, and I had been following Doctor Who. I'm 59, and I'm following Doctor Who. I started watching it on PBS when I was in my teens. So 40 some of the 60 years the show was on, I was a fan. In 2017, Doctor Who gains a lesbian companion named Bill. Peter Capaldi was the Doctor then. And she was not well received. And they very dramatically killed her off, turned her into a Cyberman. 2017, same year, the character, the Master, regenerated into a woman. And so now you have this gender bender stuff where she was a male, now she's a female. The actress played the part very well as a villain. She was a very enjoyable character, but it was just one of these things that they kept slipping in. And at the end of the 2017 season, the Doctor regenerates into a woman, and the ratings were already slumping. And Jodie Whittaker is a fine actress. I've seen her in shows. Got no problems with her. But when she became the Doctor, the ratings really took a shit. Because it's one thing if you change the character, and it's another thing if you change the character like this so dramatically, and the stories are just bad. They sucked. So she became known for one of the people who's been the decline of the show, and she tried very well. They overloaded her with companions. The Doctor, through all these years, had one or two companions. At time during Peter Davison, at the end of Tom Baker and at the beginning of Peter Davison's arc as a Doctor, they had three, and it was too many, so they killed one off. And but she had 3 and 4 companions, and the show actually revolved around the companions too much. And after 3 years, 3 seasons of the Doctor, and this was another thing, people were losing interest in the show because it was taking 2 years for them to create 10 episodes, as opposed to when Tom Baker was the Doctor, 20, 30 episodes in a year. here you got 10, and it would like there'd be 2 years between seeing 10 episodes. And this is how the industry has become, as it's been 3 years since we've seen 10 episodes of Yellowstone. Now, granted, they had the strikes, but this was going on even before the strikes. Now, top 2024. Well, before the end of Jodie Whittaker's arc, the Master, who we thought was dead, regenerated from a woman to a black man towards the end of Jodie Whittaker's line. And in 2024, the Doctor regenerated and it went back to one of the most popular doctors, David Tennant, for a 3-episode arc, who then didn't regenerate. They bi-generated. Again, the gay angle. In an episode that featured an old character, an old villain called the Toymaker. Now, the Toymaker was portrayed by a gay American actor, the guy who played Doogie Howser. And the character was gay. And there was a lot of gay innuendo in this episode. And then, all of a sudden, when instead of the Doctor regenerating, he split into 2 different people. And one was this flamboyant gay black man in an open white dress shirt and his boxer shorts and socks. And again, they defeated the Toy Man. Now, this bi-generation created a black gay Doctor. And so you had the gay villain, you had the gay hero in 2024. And the season was more about gay sexuality this season. There was a lot of gay sexuality pushed in every episode, and the DEI angle. And what they added then in this season was musical numbers. So Broadway musical came to Doctor Who. And after well over 60 years, the Doctor's ratings were just plummeting. And this was the first year that Disney owned the label, and they crammed as much DEI and alphabet soup crap into the show as they could. And the writing, like I said, couldn't support it because it was very, very bad. Now we're going to switch half hour into this already, and we're going to switch to Star Trek. And Star Trek has always had things that they pushed subtly within the TV shows. And they did so in a creative manner. So people really didn't care because the stories were so good. They had this species on there called the Trill. And the Trill was a symbiotic relationship where you had a living host supporting this being that was implanted within them, that carried all the knowledge and of a previous lifetime with them. So they were the host for this character. And there was this character named Dax on Deep Space Nine, who was this very attractive young actress, Terry Farrell. And she was Jadzia Dax. And the commanding officer, Sisko, was friends with one of the prior host for the symbiote, and it was a man then. His name was Curzon. So the running joke through the show, the term of endearment that Sisko had for this woman was old man. So he referred to this beautiful young lady as old man. And later on in the series, Dax encountered a former lover who was also a Trill. And they had in a past hosts, they had a husband and wife relationship. Curzon was married to this woman, and they both had their symbiotes. But now it's two women, and the love story continues. And the first lesbian kiss in Star Trek history happened on Star Trek Deep Space Nine, in that story arc. But now, with Star Trek Discovery, they really pushed again the DEI and alphabet soup and body shaming bullshit. And the captain of the Enterprise was the transgender African American adopted sister of Spock named Michael Burnham. And Michael started life as a man and transitioned into a woman. And this was the captain of the Starship Discovery. Her chief engineer and chief medical officer were a gay couple. Then, as the show went along, they added an adolescent, non-binary couple. And this one character, and they were both non-binary in real life. We had this boy walking around in a dress that acted like a woman that in real life that was, now they were both characters. And one of them was a Trill. Then you had a science officer that was introduced into the show. She was a lesbian. And then you had, so with the main character, you had the DEI and the lesbian, not lesbian, but the DEI and the transgender bullshit. The con and ops officers were a lesbian couple. And then I getting to the body image, body shaming stuff. You had this attractive redhead, funny, silly lady who was kind of the bright spot of the show in the first season. She was a very likable character. She was built like a normal woman. All of a sudden, when you hit the second season, she's obese. I mean, from the last episode of the first season to the first episode of the second season, all of a sudden, she put on about 80 pounds. And I thought it was a fat suit. I thought it was some kind of joke or anything. But she just blew up. She became a fat person to push a social issue on a TV show at the show's producers' request. They wanted to cram more woke politic into the show. And now I guess she's stuck that way because she's going to be on another Star Trek show. Now, you see this stuff. There's other, if I went on, I would go on and on and on and on. But then some other stuff started bothering me. When I was little thing, preschool, I watched Sesame Street. They had the Muppets on there. And you had Bert and Ernie, who was, you could tell, was kind of based on The Odd Couple a bit, and also based on Skipper and Gilligan. And Ernie and Bert, and all these years they're on the show. And then a couple years ago, they started insinuating that they were a gay couple. And if that weren't enough, they had an openly gay Muppet. This is a Muppet. It's a hand sock puppet, essentially, dressed up to entertain children. Why do you have to inject sexuality of any type into this? And it's called grooming, of course, just like Disney with the golden dick and the topiary shaped like penises subliminally put into their children's entertainment. So here you have a gay Muppet. And then the humans on there, they just happen to put in a gay couple. Now, if that's not enough, I have a grandson now who's 7 months old. And there's shows that we watch that are supposed to stimulate their them with teaching them the sounds, phonetics, and sign language, and stuff like that. And I had no problem with teaching kids sign languages with the voice, because there's a lot of deaf people out there. They are hearing impaired. I can't hear out of my right ear. So, you know, they sign with the worship music at my church. But then, we had this on for my grandson, and it's all a lot of music to it. They teach through music. They they take Frere Jacques, the music from Frere Jacques, because of the simplicity of it, and use it in different singing and of teaching kids the colors and teaching kids numbers and stuff like that. And all of a sudden, this character comes on named Jewel, and I'm watching this with my wife, and Jules is non-binary. So now you're pushing this and the ableist stuff and everything. And it's really a freaking shame, because if I could turn it off, and you can turn it off, but what really needs to be turned off is this agenda pushing within Hollywood. And it's gotten to the point where you can't get away from it. Network television is so bad. They push one of my favorite shows, Law and Order. They had stuff in it. They always had a little bit of stuff in it, but it was relevant and politically relevant to the stories, because they always tried to match stories that they had to what was going on in life, particularly criminal cases. And they always had their version of a current political issues, and they went really, really woke in the first season after the build large mansion riots, and a lot of TV shows, but all the Law and Order shows got this way. CBS started pushing it in their shows, but Dick Wolf really, I call him Dick Woke. He had really good shows, and he started pushing it in the Chicago shows, the Chicago MD, Chicago Fire. They have a K character since the very beginning on Chicago Fire. And what's funny is he did what Stephen Bochco did. Stephen Bochco had this gay character came in, and he actually became the most virtuous, noble character, moral the compass on NYPD Blue. And I think that's what they tried to achieve with this gay character on Chicago Fire. And he was pretty much like everybody's best friend, person that they could confide in, person that they could go to for help for their families when they needed it. Good character. But it was part of the agenda that they were pushing. And it's a shame. I can accept characters like that character. I can't accept bad characters just for the sake of pushing a show and pushing the writing. But anyways, that's pretty much almost 45 minutes. And I want to thank you for watching. Thank you for putting up with me bitching about pop culture. I got to get on making calls for Trump Force 47. Making America Great Again. Thank you for listening. Stay safe. God bless.